So it sounds like you guys responded to that. So looks like a lot of people are sticking around for the Q&A too, which is great. So I know there's lots of questions out there. A lot of people are emailing events trying to get on the docket. So I just wanted to quickly ask Jay, because it's something that we discussed earlier. What made Diamond Dallas's page, DDP Yoga, so different from other attempts at dealing with this problem?
Pay your bills. I think the difference between rehab and doing it with somebody like Diamond Dallas Page was love, trust, and DDP Yoga works, man. You know, they got my head out of my ass. I started, the hardest thing for a drug addict or a drunk, man, is you feel so physically bad, it's hard to get started doing anything. You know, just putting the drink down does not make you better. It might help, but doing DDP Yoga was a big part of my journey. Because I started feeling good about myself. I started seeing changes in my body physically. The food we ate was different, you know. It wasn't the shit that I used to live on, man. You know, and you start taking care of your body, you start doing the right thing, you see changes, man. And that's what every drunk needs, man, is to see some change, you know. You know, just putting down the bottle for a week or two, man, you don't see no changes, man, other than the fact you're pissed off you're not able to drink. You know, and going to rehab, man, is, you know, maybe it works for some people. It didn't work for me. I went to several. And I'm just so grateful Dallas reached out to me, because without him, I'd be dead, no doubt. And I hope that this movie will inspire you to possibly reach out to someone you know. Because here's some breaking news. Drunks and junkies don't like themselves, okay? They're not having fun. When you reach that point, there is no more good times. It's all hell. But it's still something you have to do. So it's pretty daring. I mean, I thought Dallas was insane to bring me and Scott into the house. I mean, that was brave. That was really brave. Because so many things could have happened. But I hope it inspires you, to, whether it be a family member or a friend or, I don't know, man. Just know this, if you try to help somebody, chances are they're going to screw you over, rip you off. You know, that's what we do. Just don't give up.
All right, so I'm in with the question. Oh, there's a quick hand.
You look great, by the way, an inspirational film.
Of course I do. Oh, you talking to Steve?
Often addictions come from some form of trauma base, and certainly, your journey, you went through, the yoga and all that stuff, but were you able to explore, what happened in your childhood and the trauma that you went through? That's really something.
I did that a lot in rehab, and I still do it today. I'm still getting therapy. Accepting where you come from, you got to do it, man. We don't get to choose the deck of cards we play with. They're handed to us. The worst thing you can do is try to hide from it. You cannot hide from your life. If you try to stuff it in a corner, underneath the bed, you're going to wind up medicating yourself because you're not dealing with it. As bad as my father was, that was probably one of the harder things for me to do, was to accept the fact that I loved him, even though he was a no good piece of whatever, is my dad. I couldn't help myself. I used to get so angry at myself. Why do you still love him when you know that he's a child molester, he's this, he's that? You can't help it. Do I like him? Hell no. Hell no. But accepting where you come from, man, is something you got to do, man. But you got to get it out in the light. Any problem you have to bring it to the light, man, because if you don't bring it to the light, it will fester and it'll eat you alive. And that was my mistake. Because I didn't want anybody to know where I was from, what I was about. That's the whole reason I came up with a snake character. Nobody wanted to be around me when you had a 12-foot python hanging around, you know? And here's some breaking news. I hate snakes. I'm terrified of the damn things. But having that snake kept you and other wrestlers from talking to me and wanting to know anything about me. Then you just want to get away from that stupid son of a bitch over there, you know? So that was my defense. And not a good one, man. Jesus Christ, that damn thing bit the shit out of me. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, the moments in the film where you kind of broke down and you know, you got drunk for a day or when did it start, and like how did it start in your head? Like what was the first drink?
You never see it coming. It blindsides you. It's not something you sit down, it's not a mathematical question. You sit there and add 2 and 2 and 4 and 6 and 8 and 12, no. It'll blindside you. Next thing you know, you're sitting in a bar and you're pounding down a couple. The worst thing about that, it made me feel so bad because I'd let myself down and I'd let my friends down. And Dallas really had to use kid gloves on me, man, because I would go into such a deep funk. And I wouldn't go out and get drunk. I would have 4 or 5, you know, whatevers. But it was such, I failed again. And failure, man, you get so tired of failing when you're drunk. I mean, it's just like, Jesus Christ, not again. You know, you can't, why can't I do this? You know, you try to white knuckle it, it don't work, man. To this day, I don't trust myself. So there's a drug out called N-Abuse, and each morning I wake up and I take one and I film myself taking it. I send it to Dallas, that way he knows I'm doing the right thing. Not that I feel like I would drink, but boy, if I do, I'm gonna pay a hell of a price, because that shit will mess you up. I know, I tested it. Hey, I'm a junkie, man. I gotta find out what it does. I mean, there might be some, you know, lateral leeway there where I might get a buzz or something out there. And you don't get a buzz sitting on the toilet spewed in a bucket. Yes?
I'd just like to ask, you know, about something about your wrestling career. Macho Man and the Cobra. I'm just wondering if you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Long story short, he made it bite me before he let it bite him, which I thought was pretty effed up. But he thought there was some type of conspiracy to get rid of him. So it was like, get in here, snake, man. Why don't you let the snake bite you first? So, I show you how messed up I was. I agreed to it. You know? Next. Yes. Hell yeah. Now or later. Oh, sorry. Or both. Hell yeah. Take your time. See you guys later. Okay. Yes.
If you could talk about what it was like experiencing it as a film, watching your sort of darkest parts on screen. And if you could talk about it as a filmmaker, when you're close to your subject, how do you draw the line? How do you make sure you make it a film, not just a testament to your friend?
It was tough because, you know,
We're
as a
not
filmmaker.
friends, I hate that fucker.
It's true. It was hard to draw the line because, you know, ultimately we wanted to help Jake. You know, we had this idea, well, let's document it, and we don't know what it'll turn into. So, you know, you can see that I got into the mix a lot of the time, and you know, people are like, well, weren't you scared the wrestlers were going to knock you out? It was a little intimidating. But, you know, in the end, we all knew that Jake has a really big heart, and it was an addiction that he was fighting against. So, you know, it wasn't, at a certain point, it was like, screw the film, like we're trying to help Jake. We had guys filming, but it was like, there's no line we weren't going to cross with it. So.
Yeah, there's lots of hours that they did not use. And
Because you asked for them to not be used?
no, I pretty much said, let's go with it. But I did have the final say so. None of this would be up here without my okay. Okay?
Yeah, maybe Jake, you want to talk about like maybe the first or second time you saw it?
It's fucking brutal. You know? I still don't like seeing it. I don't like that guy. I don't like that son of a bitch, man. I don't like what alcohol did to me. And what I chose for it to do, you know? And what really pisses me off is I thought I was okay. I thought everybody else was messed up. So that teaches you something about the disease, doesn't it? You know, it's cunning, baffling, you know, for those who've been to AA, you know. I still go to AA. It's really hard to beat it.
Is the movie helping or hurting?
Oh, it definitely helps. Again, you've got to bring it to the light, man. If you keep trying to hide from that disease, it will kill you. You got to be straight up with it. You got to face it. You know, it's like the bully down the street, man. You can't just keep going around the corner to get away from him because he's there all the time. Yes.
What have you replaced it with? You know, I've been battling
Living.
my own alcohol for 20 years.
Living.
And there's everybody has hobbies.
Yeah, I do. I do woodwork. I'm doing comedy now. Excuse me. I do comedy. I'm traveling around doing comedy where I just, you know, reenact or relive some of the moments that I had on the road, telling stories. And guess where I'm doing it at? In a bar. And it does not bother me at all. You know, and I tell people in there, hey guys, you can drink, enjoy yourself. If you can't, get help. Because there are a lot of people that can drink. I'm not one of them. Yeah, and that's one great thing that I replaced it with, is the fact that I got my family back, man. My kids dig me. I've got, I guess one of my earlier hobbies was having kids, because I've got 8. So now I've got grandkids running out my ass, man. And, they're a lot of fun, you know, and it really helps me because during those years that I was drinking and using, I ignored my children. And I wasn't a good father. I wasn't there. I was too busy being a wrestling star and too busy with my drug of choice and my alcohol to be a real man, a real father. But I'm getting a chance to be a grandfather now, man, and my kids have opened their arms and brought me in, man, and we are really digging it, man, really digging it. It is so awesome. You know, I can't believe that I traded that for what I'm seeing now. You know, it's amazing how blind you are when you're in the throes of addiction. You know, I thought I was having a good time for a long time. And of course, I'll tell you, the last 10 years, man, I was just effing miserable 24/7. I never enjoyed it. And that sucks, paying $300-400 a day and not even having fun, you know? But that's where I was at. I hated it. I mean, I'm hating it and liking it. Smoking that shit, you know? Hating it and still doing it. and shaking my hand. Why? Put it down. Pick it back. Yeah. Yes.
I just wanted to say to both of you, that's the most powerful wrestling film that I've seen.
Thank you. You would not believe, in the last 3 years, this guy and the team have worked on this thing, man. I mean, it's crazy how much time they spend doing it. And just,
I just wanted to ask, if not already, do you see yourself maybe helping assist people who are, have completely fallen apart?
absolutely. I've already,
Or already maybe gone to bed?
yeah, I'm going through the process right now, getting myself ready to go out and speak in rehabs and being more
Those are the most powerful testaments.
more active, because I do want to help that guy that was like me, man, because I know what I was like, and I know how horrible it was, and I've also seen what it did to my children, and now that they're coming back and we're able to build this relationship, I'm seeing how much joy it creates too. But no, we are working, I am working on getting myself certified and qualified to go out and speak.
One more question?
First off, thank you, Mr. Roberts, and thank you, Mr. Yu, for coming to Calgary to speak with us tonight.
Bro.
Is there any chance that we will get to see Jake the Snake Roberts in a WWE event down the road somewhere?
I have started wrestling again because I'm in shape now, which 3 years ago I was 80 pounds heavier, couldn't even get out of a chair. And that's a testament to DDP Yoga. If you haven't checked out DDP Yoga, man, you gotta do it because it is so awesome. And as far as me getting back in the ring for the WWE, if they can afford it. Now that I've sobered up, it's going to be much more expensive.
All right, well, on that note, thank you everyone for coming out. We appreciate you coming out.